Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. ARCA Menards series time, Chicagoland Speedway week 11, going out for qualifying.
Pit lane speed limit is 50
Shocker!
miles per hour.
Justice is in my race again. I feel like every single NASCAR type fixed series, whether it's ARCA, whether it's trucks, whether it's Xfinity, I always seem to find my way in a race with him, but it's good because if I can ever finish close to him, then I feel like, as long as he didn't catch a bad break, then I'm actually improving. So, gonna run a throwaway for lap 1, try to just get some heat in the tires, get some grip in it, and then hopefully make it stick on lap 2. Make sure we have enough time to do it. Yeah, we should have enough time to get that. So let's see if we can get some good iRating out of a tougher split. Right around 2,800 coming into this. Split's like right around 3,300 or so. I think there's 21 or 22 and we're coming over 15, so hopefully should be a good run. I get a run on the high side here. Let's come to the line, get as much momentum for lap 2. Try to make this stick. See if we can go put something that's top 5 worthy.
P11, you've just done a 31.39.
P11 with that throwaway lap, so can't complain about that. Just gotta try to not make it slide off of turn 2. The all-time optimal I have is actually from a league race, so it's really not applicable for this one. Yep, a bit too early to the throttle there in 3. Try to make it stick and see if we can get to the line. Hopefully get into a 2. Low 2, I'll take that.
P5.
Puts us 5th right now, so see if 5th sticks. Hopefully it did. Yeah, we did, by 9 thousandths of a second, so cool. I started exactly where I wanted to. I'll take that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tire save enough and stay up here. Honestly, a top 10 is going to be a really good finish in this one for me, given the strength of field, but we were about a 10th, a little under a 10th and a half off the pole, so I knew I should have been learning how to get into the ones that just never could quite work the throttle well enough, get the lifting points, get back in and drive it right on that edge of the slip angle. Probably put, a little more time into it. I might have been able to figure it out, but pretty happy with that overall. Got a viewer in the 17. Glad to, that's pretty cool to see. I think that's the first time I've ever had that. I know I've said hi to some people before, but I think that's pretty cool to have that. So hopefully he does well. He's starting last, I'm sure. He's gonna try to work by all the chaos. Gonna go through the stop really quick. I went up to 12-1 instead of 10-1 and down to -8, and then back with the brake bias a little bit to 64. Not really going to touch the brakes a ton until probably maybe the second half of the race. So kind of just a little bit of an adjustment for me there. Normally my standard was to go to 60% right off the bat, but been kind of experimenting with both some different steering ratios and different brake biases to see if I can kind of learn how to drive the car a little bit differently and get a little bit of a different feel out of it. So trying to experiment with different stuff, see if I can find what's going to make me consistent, allow me to tire save but have pace. Like I said, I always seem to either be able to tire save and finish at the same wear percentages but not have the pace, or I can have pace up front and then just destroy tires and fall off really bad on the backside. So 35 laps standard, mile-and-a-half ARCA length.
In the inside column.
Late to the party this week, but just kind of how everything's worked out. And finished up a league race here last weekend, actually, so kind of fresh on it. That setup was a little bit of a modified fixed setup, so drove completely different than how this one did. So some of the stuff transfers, but some of it does not transfer. But kind of gives me at least a little bit of an idea. The one thing I'd be curious to see is how many people jump up to the high side right away. I've seen kind of a mix of some people work on the low side the whole race, some people running the high side the whole race, some people kind of running half and half. I think for me it's just going to depend on what the balance feels like and where everybody around me is running. Try to find some clean air over the nose, keep the grip in the front up a little bit. Clean air is always king. Yeah, like I said, I mean, a top 5, I'm going to be ecstatic with it. But, considering you've got Some quick eyes back. But we'll see what we can do. Get tucked up here. Just shoot for trying to be as smooth as I can, as clean as I can.
Okay, Jake, be ready.
Off and rolling.
Go, go, go.
12 got a bad start, so I'm going to give a good jump to the 19 on the outside. I think he kind of anticipated the leader going a little bit earlier and then had to check up. Kind of did the same thing. Got the 3
Still there.
working the inside, 4's working there, 12 gets loose behind. Have to watch that.
On your right.
Still got the 19 to our outside. He's getting a really good run down the backstretch. See if we can try to use the 12 as a pick to stall him out. Gonna be lifting earlier into the corners than what I did in qualifying.
Keep it steady, still
A
there.
little loose there in the middle of 3 and 4 on cold tires. 19's gonna get the run on the outside.
Still there.
Just gonna stay here above the apron.
Still there. Keep digging.
Don't want to battle the 19 for too long, but try to keep the track position as much as I can.
Still there.
Try not to push him up the wall. He's going to get the run, so we're going to slide in behind him. Back to 6th. Early on. Got some guys driving it way in, 21 and 13. I think they may be overdriving a bit. 21 bounces it off the wall. He's going to go spinning on the front stretch, slides down in front of everybody, down to the grass.
P6.
That was close. I don't really think the 13 did anything wrong there personally, but we can look at it afterwards. Front 4 is starting to separate away from the 19 a little bit. Again, big thing is just to not drive it in too deep, not use too much wheel. I think the setup is possible to start to drive it off the right rear and get it to be a little bit looser. But I want to try to keep it as balanced as I can. 3's already jumping to the high side. Keep working the inside. Get a really good run on the 19 here. Try to look to his inside just to keep the momentum up.
Still there.
Didn't really want to lift with the 13 behind us.
Hold your line.
Battle with him side by side. He'll get the advantage down the front stretch.
He's still there.
13's going to be putting some pressure on us from behind.
Still there. He's still there.
A bit of a tap of the brakes just to keep off the 19.
He's still there. Better pine.
Alright, back up to the top. 13's going to get the run. He's going to look to the inside. We're probably going to be dropping back another spot. So he got that run off of 2.
Still there.
Wow, really loose there on the throttle. Alright, good thing we have a big gap back to the 8. And how ironic that the 8 is running an Earnhardt Jr. scheme. That's kind of great, actually, that it worked out that way. Alright, so we're starting to fall out of the top 5. I'm hoping maybe like the 13 and the 19 are going to drive their tires too hard and we'll be able to get back to them. So we're very early on in this race. I feel like I'm just not quite driving in aggressive enough. I think everybody's driving in a bit deeper, maybe getting on the throttle a little bit sooner than I am. Leaders are about half a stretch up ahead. We got 3 wide here between the 13, the 12, and the 19. 19 works on the outside of the 12. Making a big run. Stay behind the 12 here on the outside and then just lift early, slot in behind the 13. 12's going to go to the high side. 13 gets a little loose there.
Coming up on
Pushes up. We're going to run to the inside. Just try to keep the momentum up. Wow, get really loose there on the apron. 13 still to our outside. 12 got the run.
Still there. Keep digging.
It's clear the 13
Still there.
front stretch.
Hold your line.
1's working his way up through the field. He clears the 8.
Still there. Outside line's clear.
Slot in behind the 12 now. Not going to be able to hold the 1 up. Just going to go to school, try to follow him, learn from the best. Going to keep it on the racing surface apron. I probably just drove it wrong, but that was a bit scary to me. I think I'm probably turning a bit too early there into 1. Run on the 12. He's going to lift early, sit behind him. 12's trying to go after the 19. We were behind the 13, sorry about that. 1's catching up, 8's trying to hang with him. Lap 10. Tap the brake because that time I lifted a bit too late into 1. So you guys start to get a little loose in the center of 1 and 2. I think that's what happens if you overdrive it at the beginning of the run. You gotta start watching how you lay the throttle down. Kind of feel a little bit of trying to work little lifts of the throttle in the center of the corner to keep it straighter. Keep it from sliding the rear tires too much, getting hot. It'll just get looser if I do that.
P7.
12 pushes wide there out of turn 2. Back to the inside of the 13. 12 gets into the wall. Hopefully that'll stall the 13 out. 13 dove underneath the 12. So we got the 13 on our outside. 12's falling back. 13's going to get the run. I'm sure the 1's going to try to see which way he goes. 12 kind of makes some contact with us. He turned down a little bit. Probably expecting me to turn in a little bit earlier. That was on me that time. 1's going to make it 3 wide. He's going to take advantage of the momentum. And we're going to be in the bad spot. Trying to hold it. Not the fun spot to be in. 12's going to clear us off of 4. I just backed out. So we go back to 7th. Big gap back to the 12. He's kind of holding the 8 up. It's about a half second back there. 1 looks like he's getting on the throttle a little bit earlier, maybe pushing it up a little bit. Get into the 13. Trying to listen to what he was saying. I'm really sorry about that 13. That was completely my fault for getting on the throttle too early. Didn't mean to push up into you. Try to send the apology to him. I feel really bad about that. It was not what I wanted to do.
6th place. That was 32.
I can't hear you there, my guy. Put on driver. We can't hear you. I know you're code, but get back in your car. Alright, or you can just leave. Alright, help him out. Well, yeah, he tried to protest it. Yes, that's protestable. There's no way.
Alright, I guess we'll see if we actually get protested. Sounds like he's pretty angry. I'll go back and listen to it afterwards. I don't know. I mean, it was an honest mistake. It was not intentional at all. Nothing I can do about it now. If he gets that angry and protests and it's right, then, you know, it is what it is. I get it. Can't think about that now. It's just an honest mistake. Can't let it get to me. Just have to focus on driving clean. Stupid move on my part. We're starting to stay ahead of the 12 now. He's kind of holding up the 8 and the 2 behind. 19 gets into the wall up in the middle, 1 and 2. Try to take advantage of that, see if we can start to catch up to him. 1's going to work by him down the backstretch. Guess if everybody's going to protest over any mistakes that happen, well then half the people wouldn't be left racing. But like I said, not anything to think about right now. 19's really loose. Open the gap up from the 12 a little bit. We're going to try to get by the 19 as quickly as possible because he is looking really scary. He goes to the high side, so we're just going to dive to the bottom. Try to keep it off of him. I'll give him the run. I don't want to repeat with the 13, and I'm not liking the situation of the 19. 8's also going to try to work by the 12. He goes side by side back into 3. Car's definitely getting a little loose, but I think it's manageable with steering angle and lifting on the throttle.
That lap was 32.
Just trying to lift it a little bit earlier into 1. Need to maybe drag the brakes just a little bit to get it on entry. 19 trying to get the run on the outside. 8 and the 2 are now going to battle side by side along with the 12. Got a full second on them. Right now, top 5 looks possible. The 19 continues to fall back. 3/10 behind him. We've got 17 to go. Just past halfway.
We're okay on fuel.
Make sure I send a private message to 13 apologizing. That was just an honest mistake. Just an absolute honest mistake. Need the 12 with the 8 and the 2 to continue battle side by side. The longer they can do that, the more I can pull away. Open up this gap. At least I can still see the leaders. It's an improvement that way. 19's done a really good job to recover. Get himself back up there.
22.84.
Trying to improve on the entry into 1. And we don't have completely cleaner since the 1's running the low line, but I feel like we got better air than running behind the 19. 12's doing a good job trying to hold off the 8 and 2. I overshoot turn 3 there. I use way too much wheel. Car gets loose in the center of the corner. Chase it up the track. Terrible 3 and 4. 15 to go. I think I'm still entering just a bit too shallow into turn 1. 19's ripping the high side. He starts to pull away 10th. 12's falling back. 8 got by him. Looks like he's got some damage from hitting the wall. Must have been running the outside. 1.4 back to the 8 now. We'll see if he starts to close up in the last 14 laps. Can't tell if the 19 scraped the wall there going into 1. Get a little loose there in the center of 1 and 2. Good run though on the 19 out.
Brad, you just come off the corners. How you want to, buddy? I'm gonna stay off, buddy. I'm just cruising.
Trying to work the throttle through the center of 3 and 4. Keep the momentum up. Get way too loose there off of turn 4. Still 3/10 back. 4/10 back from the 19th inside that terrible 4.
Alright, Jake. Lap times are pretty consistent.
Picks up a 10th on the 8.
We're 9.4.
One's trying to work his way forward as well. I think 19's the only car we could potentially get. I got a shot at him if I can be smooth. Just got to remember to be a little bit smoother on the throttle through 3 and 4. I know I want to get on it to try to get the momentum, but sliding's only going to hurt me worse. That was a better one. 8's going to start battling with the 2 now. 5's also working his way up.
Was that 33.04?
It's only a matter of time before the 19 gets into the wall again. Which, as long as we can stay close, could potentially help us. Because I could easily see him getting into the wall off of turn 2. Gap from behind still opening up as well, so no pressure out behind, just all focusing on the 19 up front. Definitely closing in on him. Still stands at 3/10, but
The lap time
I think
was
we're picking up a little bit of time on him. Just going to keep staying this bottom line here. Feel the most comfortable with it. 2/10 now to the 19. And almost 2.5 back to the 2. Too shallow of an entry into turn 3. It's going to give the 19 momentum off the corner. He just scrapes the wall a little bit there out of 4.
You've just done a 33.04.
Still closing on the 19, which is good. Trying to get the draft of them down the backstretch. A little too much throttle too early there into 3. Trying to work it. 10th back. It's going to take a little bit to get by him because we're going to start losing the momentum since we're going to have him on our outside coming out of 2 and 4, but I think we can keep working him if we just be patient.
You got one right side. Clear up high.
Right behind him now down the backstretch. Just got to not overdrive the corners. Be smooth. That dirty air definitely makes the car tighter on entry. Still 2.3 back to the 2. He's starting to separate from the 5 a little bit.
That lap time was 33.22. That's good.
Reason to jump to the high side. This bottom side's still been working for me. I think we have enough laps to work the 19. Gets such a run off the corner, but like I said, I think it's only a matter before he makes a mistake. Gonna use the brakes a little bit to try to get into 3 a little bit better. Just working the entry a little bit better. Picked up about half a car length this time.
P5.
Keep it steady, still there. Still there.
It's gonna be a good battle for 5th to the end. Oh, 19 makes a big mistake off of 2. Oh, that was the grab. That was the mistake we needed. Huge mistake on his part. I think he tried to cut down off of the outside and it just shot him down the track. We'll look at it afterwards, but I'm almost 2 seconds back. Good line, the leader's gone, but 3, 7, and 1 are going to get into a good battle here the last 6 laps. My turn to make sure I don't overdrive, do something stupid, and just watch up front and see if anything happens.
1.10.
'Cause I think the 19 is going to stall the 2 or the 5 out if they get to him. Really loose there out of turn 4, just too much throttle. 1 works by the 7, 7's 1.7 back, 5 to go. But he's basically working the bottom line up front. Probably slid a little too much there off of turn 2, but we are gaining on the 7. Just not enough laps, I don't think. Try not to overdrive 3. Keep it smooth, work it better off of turn 4.
Okay, Jake, push now. We can catch this guy.
Out even compared to the last lap, so I'll take that. Still 1.7 back. Losing a little bit of time to the 1. Got 1 slow car up ahead. Looks like the 1 got wide there out of turn 4. On the front stretch, we're keeping even with them pulling away from the 19. 3 to go.
33.21. Good consistency to keep.
7's going to work back to the inside, 1's going to work the outside off of turn 2.
Now 1.76.
They're going to go side by side. Looks like the 1 just clears the 7 down the middle of the backstretch.
P5.
Hey Tyler, if you get a chance, just want to get today.
Technically gaining slightly on the 7. 2 to go.
2 laps remaining.
Almost 2 seconds ahead of the 19 as well, so like I said, I don't think any pressure from behind. It's all about me not making a mistake, and no real chance up front unless something crazy were to happen. But I will gladly take a top 5. I told you I'd be ecstatic with that. Realistically, it probably should be a top 6. Probably wouldn't have been able to get by the 13. I feel bad for doing that, and like I said, I sent him a message to apologize. It's not at all what I want to do. There's nothing intentional about that. I mean, the protests need to be used for intentional ones, not for, you know, an honest mistake. But hard to say. We were a little bit faster than the 7 on the back half, just didn't quite have the track position to get there.
P5. There we go. It's over. Bring it back round.
Man, I suck. Oh, you're just rusty, EJ. Come on now. I finished 7th in a race. I've only heard of 2 people. Time to hang it up. I'm lost up. You want me to help you?
Sorry, just
You
listening to
win,
chat.
Tyler.
Trying to say something to the 1.
Good race, good win.
I have practice.
Good win, 4.
EJ, do you want me to help you?
Let's take a look at the tires while they talk.
What's the trick, buddy?
66.74, definitely drove it off the right front. Probably could have done a little better job balancing it, but not horrible. Yeah,
I
13,
need help too.
definitely have to say apology for. Feel bad for doing that.
Eric Justice driving.
I guess I wasn't quite using the same ratio and offset as
What? Okay.
Derek, but I'll take it.
Just trust me. Try it wonders. Tempo, alright.
Thanks for explaining that to me, Derek. Appreciate it. I really didn't mean to get into him. I'm going to send him an apology afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know if he was going to see that DM or not, because the little green light flash don't work right now, so hopefully he sees it. But he said he was going to protest you, which I didn't see anything malicious, something that you did just to raise an incident, but yeah.
Oh, no, I get it. I mean, I just got on the throttle a little too hard and just kind of kicked the right front up a little bit into him. That's all. It definitely was not intentional, but I don't know. We'll see what iRacing calls it if he does it.
Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it, honestly. I think it was just an honest mistake, and he apologized, so. Oh, EJ, do 14-1 for our Q, also. 14-1 for Q, though. Not 16-1.
All right, so done with the chat there.
I just
Appreciate
caught it on that one, that's all.
just appreciate the one giving me his feedback. Glad to hear other people say it was, you know, an honest mistake, which is really what I think it was. Let's take a look at everything. I want to look at that deal with him and see what I did. Go far chase. Alright, so we made a little bit of contact there. Drop the mic down a little bit. And, you know, let's drop this down, get a little bit of a better angle. Alright, so he got by. One got by as I pushed up. I lead this, you know, lap or two before it. And he was going to work to the outside of the one. So I was driving in. One was already clear at this point. I was working about half the lane off the bottom. Yeah, so honestly, like,
I'm on nothing right now.
it was, you know, I got back onto the throttle and then was pushing up here at this point as, you know, I was trying to stay off of him. And honestly, at that point, I saw it and I was trying to get off and it was just too little too late and got into him. It was just, yeah, I mean, that's a really bad break for him. He took the worst of it by far. But I really was just trying to get the run off the corner and, you know, stay ahead of him or try to get underneath him. And that just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. It's literally nothing he did at all. Like, he's coming out of the corner exactly how he should, and I just kind of pushed a little too hard, got a little, you know, on the throttle a little too early, trying to get to his inside, get the run off it too, and just got right into the left rear and drove it in. You know, I reacted too late, knowing that I was going to get him. It was my fault for not recognizing that I was going to get into him sooner. If I would have, I probably would have gotten off the throttle, maybe lifted a little bit more, dragged the brake, something to stay off him. So I don't know. It was just completely accidental. You know, nothing malicious about that. So I feel really bad for that. But let's go through the rest of everything, see what happened. 12 just did not get a good start. We saw that. Here's the 19. This was off the start. I didn't think he was going to get into the wall, but maybe a bit of net code. Nothing there. 21's behind me. He's just going to get up and get the wall. Yeah, he hit it pretty hard. It dragged him, and then he went spinning across the field. Almost collected the two. Goes down to the infield. That was pretty crazy. 16's going to work the outside. Get a tiny bit of the wall out of 4. 12's going to work behind the 3. 3 gets loose. 12 tries to kick up. Then he slams the wall. 8 was coming up behind him. 11's going to drag the wall out of 4. 6. Run the high side through 3. Gets into the wall. 16's going to get the wall in the middle of 1 and 2. Yep. 12's trying to work back behind the 19. Drags the wall. This is what allowed us to get by. That was that 3 wide moment. Alright, here's my deal. Again, it was just honestly overdriving on my part. You know, nothing intentional at all. And for the first time in a while, I didn't catch the bad end. Completely my fault. 100% without a doubt my fault. To listen to the radio to see what all he was saying to me. 19 with a bit of netcode and then a wall drag in the middle of 1. 9's working the outside. Hard off the wall. 19's going to get it again. Coming out of 4. Maybe netcode if anything. 3's going to drag the wall. 5 in the battle with the 2 and the 8 drags the wall. It allows the 2 to get on by. As well as the 8. The 18 is going to get a run as well. So now the 5 is going to try to get behind the 18. And gets the wall, pushing up, avoiding the 18 as the 18 got loose in front of him, out of 4. 19 is going to get maybe netcode if anything. Seems like he netcoded off 4 a lot. That time he actually got it. That allowed me to close up some. 11 gets the grass. And then gets the wall hard. And then damages the right front. Can't roll. 16 is going to get the wall off of 4. A lot of people getting the wall off of 4. Not quite. 11 gets his fresh car. Drives it up the track into the wall on 1 and 2. 8 does almost the same thing. Everybody's trying to push it so much on the edge that if you just step over and that body makes contact with the wall, it just sucks you into it. It's the standard ARCA stuff. 8. Not sure why he showed up there. 21 after getting back on the track. Wall again. 11 gonna get the wall into 3. Not sure there. 19 spins it on the cooldown, and that's the end of the race. So, yeah, hopefully, if protest happens, you know, we don't get parked, but if we do, we do. It's what it is, you know, not much I can really do there. So, take a look at the results. Hopefully, they should be fairly decent. Safety rating's not gonna be as great as I wanted, but 5 splits, 33, 84 strength of field. So, like I said, not a bad one for me at all. A little bit of safety rating gain. 0.09, honestly. Obviously, shouldn't have made that mistake. Should have been better. Should have finished 6th. 13 probably would have been faster than us. Decent I rating gain, 76 there. We were a little over 2/10 off what the fast laps were. Leader was the only one that could run on the 2s. Everybody else was in the 3s and 4s. So I guess that was kind of on pace. Just again, I can't save quite as well as some of those guys. I can run the pace, but I can't save quite as well. So that's why they had that advantage there. 7 led 1 lap and really fell back, led the lead, or grabbed the pole, and then 4 got by him. So it was a decent run overall. You know, stupid mistake on my part for getting into the 13. He was, quite a bit, about half a tenth faster than me. So would have imagined that he would have been probably ahead of us, maybe finishing like 4th, something like that. So probably should have been a 6th place finish, which would have been just outside where I wanted, but battled back, you know, stayed ahead of the 2, the 5, the 8, the 12 outlasted them cleanly. 13 was the one I made the mistake with, and worked the 19 about as well as I could. Took advantage of that mistake, got by him, so glad for him to do that, and seems like he pushed a bit too hard, killed the tires early on, and started going all over the place, so glad I was able to kind of foresee that, avoid that, and keep it clean. So feel really, really bad about the 13. Like I said, just, you know, not at all what I wanted to do. Hopefully, cooler heads prevail, but, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be, and there's nothing I can do other than learn from it and try to correct it. Like I said, I'll send an apology even if he's not going to see it, so hopefully it runs well. Other viewer 17 was able to keep himself on the lead lap. Picked up a few spots, finished 15th, so finished ahead of where he's supposed to, so good run by him. And yeah, we'll take that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Feel free to leave any feedback. You know, like I said, obviously made a stupid mistake. Gotta judge closing rate a little bit better when I'm pushing too hard out of the corners, but I'm still really green, still really new to this stuff. Just kind of trying to jump to that next tier, which would be like a mid-tier driver. So I'm still gonna make mistakes along the way and trying to learn from it my own. You know, I own up to that one 100%, and I like to show you guys when I make those mistakes because you can see where I'm coming from, what I'm learning, where I'm going to. So you know, it makes it real. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, and until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.